More moves are coming as this keeps getting crazier for the New York Knicks, as once again, one of their key guys, who Leon Rose has had a ton of interest in, is showing why he is the next New York Knick to join the team after the Knicks also signed PJ Tucker. And yes, they could do this, but it is going to take one specific thing to happen in order for the New York Knicks to be their best selves by the time of the NBA playoffs. And we're going to break all this down on Knicks Digest. What's up, guys? Welcome back. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right in as always. Guys, if you're enjoying the content, make sure to subscribe. If you're part of that 68% that's not subscribed to the channel yet, this is the place to be for all New York Knicks content, so make sure to hit the button. It really helps us out a ton. We got multiple videos every day. Let's jump into it, though, because we have a lot to discuss. Moses Brown, a man who has been the fan favorite for a lot of Knicks fans who want another center on the team. He put up another great game for the Westchester Knicks once again, putting up 28 points and 15 rebounds, showing why the New York Knicks have had a bunch of interest in him. This is far from the first time that Moses Brown has done this. He's a guy who's averaging 16, nearly 17 points per game and 15 rebounds per game for the Westchester Knicks this season. The man was awesome for the Dallas Mavericks as well when they called him up on a 10-day contract, but could not afford to keep Moses Brown around. However, the New York Knicks, there actually is a way. A lot of people have talked about this, but there is a way for the New York Knicks to get Moses Brown onto this team for the playoff push, and the Knicks could desperately use another center. As though Mitchell Robinson is a very solid player, there is the fear of the injuries, and Moses Brown gives them great insurance for Mitch because he's a great offensive rebounder, great player on offense, phenomenal rebounder in general. He's not the world's greatest defender, but he can hold his own down there, which is important to note. So Brown does give the Knicks a lot of what Mitchell Robinson gives them, and just gives them ultimately insurance that the New York Knicks could desperately use for Mitch. So Moses Brown, it's so obvious that you sign him, and we're going to go into exactly how you can right now. As we all know, the New York Knicks, they have 15 players on the roster now. That was made official when Leon Rose decided to bring in PJ Tucker to this team, and Tucker's instantly gained a fan base in New York. It took no time at all for people to be loving PJ Tucker and the energy he gives off the bench. People saying that PJ Tucker saved the Knicks, and essentially that Tucker gives the Knicks a bit of Brownsville when the Knicks were to Williamsburg. So a bunch of fans are excited with PJ Tucker on the New York Knicks, and I'm one of them. I like PJ Tucker a lot, and I expect PJ Tucker to get that longer-term contract for the rest of the season. As Tucker said, he intends on being here longer than 10 days. He is going to get another contract after that 10-day deal. It could be another 10-day contract, but it also could be a fully guaranteed deal for the rest of the season, which I expect it to be. I don't think the Knicks are going to keep stringing Tucker along. They will add him on to an extension, or not, I guess an extension, but really a contract for the rest of this season. Tucker deserves it already. He's shown why he does. The man just gives the Knicks what they needed. A hard-nosed guy who is going to not be afraid to yell at the team, get them psyched up, get them in that championship mentality that Tucker has. And, I mean, it's clearly worked already. Like him yelling at Josh Hart to shoot the ball when he's open, and then Josh Hart's going 4 for 6 from 3. It's clearly working having PJ Tucker on this team. So the question lies, how could you also get Moses Brown? How could Leon Rose pull off getting Moses Brown when the Knicks have 15 guys? Well, there is a way to do that, and that is by buying out Delon Wright from his contract. Delon Wright, I'll be honest, and I don't mean to throw any hate towards Delon, he doesn't add a bunch to this Knicks team. There's a lot of guards, and I understand that Jalen Brunson is down with that ankle injury, but you still have Deuce McBride, Cameron Payne, and Tyler Kolek to hold down. And also in a pinch, Josh Hart can play that point guard position, so you can really be fine. I don't think it's something the Knicks fans have to worry about too much. So, and because of that, I truly don't see a real point to keeping Delon Wright around. Yes, he's a great defender, but so is PJ Tucker. So is Deuce McBride. You don't need someone to be this multi-level defender when you have OG Anunoby, Deuce McBride, Mikal Bridges, PJ Tucker on your team. It just doesn't make any sense to have that be the reasoning to keeping around Delon Wright, who's played in like 2 games for the Knicks and scored 3 points, which was just 1 basket. It doesn't add up to me when you could instead have Moses Brown, who helps his team way more if you're looking for depth. You don't need the depth of Delon Wright as badly as you need the depth of Moses Brown. It just makes more sense for Moses Brown to be the guy who the Knicks add over Delon Wright. Now, taking a look at Delon Wright's numbers on the season, they're not very good. He's putting up 2.5 points, 1.5 rebounds, and 1.7 assists per game, with nearly a steal per game off the bench, and shooting 28% from the field and 25% from three. It's just not good enough numbers to warrant not having Moses Brown on this team because you refuse to buy him out. It was always weird when the Knicks made this trade. When the Knicks acquired Delon Wright in exchange for Jericho Sims, it felt odd. It felt like the Knicks were going to trade Jericho Sims just so they could get his money off the books and make a signing. Instead, they didn't do that. They took Delon Wright. They also took some draft rights in the process. And, well, now here we are with Delon Wright, and the Knicks seemingly wanted to keep him. I don't understand why. I truly don't get it. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me because even when they traded for him, it was like, why did the Knicks trade for another point guard? It does not make sense. They don't need one. They have like 4 on the roster. You don't need a 5th. It's just, it feels like a pointless move, especially with PJ Tucker, who's the same size except plays 3 positions the way that Delon Wright plays 2. It's just, yes, he plays point guard, but again, you have 4 other guys who can play point guard outside of Delon Wright, so it's really not a big concern to me personally. I think it's an obvious move that you do this, and for Moses Brown, it just makes perfect sense. I mean, looking at Brown on the Mavericks, he averaged 12 points and 8 rebounds per game with 1 steal as well. He shot 72% from the field, shot 83% from the free throw line. His true shooting was 74%. The man was very, very good for the Dallas Mavericks. It makes no sense why he's not in the NBA, and the Knicks should be taking advantage of that, and it's curious that they've really held off at this point with Moses Brown, but as the season comes along, the Knicks will eventually be able to sign another player to a contract under the salary, under the second apron. So it's one of the reasons why they're signing these 10-day contracts. Is it delays when they make that rest of the year signing, and once they make that rest of the year signing, it'll be established when they can make that next signing if they choose to buy out Delon Wright, which I ultimately would expect the Knicks to do, because are you really going to go into the playoffs just believing it? And it said, according to Ian Begley, that the Knicks do believe in Karl-Anthony Towns, Mitchell Robinson, and Precious Achiuwa to hold down the big man for it. But Achiuwa is more of a power forward. He's putting up 7 points and 6 rebounds per game with 1 assist and nearly 1 block and 1 steal per game, shooting 52% from the field and 30% from 3. Look, Precious is a fine player. I like him more as a power forward, though, than a center. I don't think he's built to be a true center on a roster, especially if he's the only big man out there, which the Knicks have usually only had 1 big man out there. It just feels very worrisome to me at the moment, and I would rather the New York Knicks not go in to the playoffs with them being 1 injury away from Precious Achiuwa being the only big man out there, when instead you could buy out Delon Wright, add Moses Brown, and solve all of your issues right there. That just makes more sense to me. Now, PJ Tucker was a great add, and he could play multiple positions as well, putting up 6 points for his career with 5.5 rebounds as well, shooting 36% from 3 and 42% from the field. Tucker's a very solid player, does all the intangible things that you love, great defender, also can hit the corner 3 like nobody's business. The man's made a living off it. On the left are the amount of 3-point shots he took that were in the corner. For all of his threes, it's the percentage of threes that are in the corner, and you could see career very, very good corner 3-point shooter for a while, led the league in corner threes on those Houston Rockets teams. So Tucker is a guy who fits into the Knicks perfectly. And yeah, I like this signing over the Moses Brown one, but when you can also make the Moses Brown one, to me, that's what makes the most sense. And I do believe the Knicks are going to do that because it's just so obvious. It's hard to imagine them not doing it. But guys, let me know what you think. Is Leon Rose going to make this move? Do you guys want Moses Brown over Delon Wright? Let me know in the comments down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day, and go Knicks.